Wingy Boxing, IFL TV.
Yes, Wingy Boxing.
In association with MTK Global.
I love the way you're big enough that it's Wingy Boxing. It's Wingy Boxing in association with IFL.
Just trying to get my
so
brand
you are
going.
You know how you're doing. I know what you're doing. You're hustling. I like it.
Don't let them know. So, Vargas said, talk to us about his opponent. How did this come about?
It's a guy who has asked for the fight before. I wanted to find a guy that Amir's done 35 seconds in 2 years. He looked unbelievable last time. I've not seen energy like that in an arena before. It was incredible. Needed to find a guy somewhere between Phil LaGreco and the guys he's going to be fighting in December. And I felt like this was a good guy, number 10 in the WBA, which is one of the governing bodies we're targeting. There's a chance this fight could be an eliminator for the winner of Matisse against Pacquiao. So they're the kind of guys that he wants to move on and fight. Of course, we know about the Kell Brook fight. That's the fight I want to make in December.
Got there already before.
But I'm hoping that Vargas is going to bring the opportunity for Amir to go through the gears and to test him before he's in a fight, a career-defining fight, which will come in December.
Is it still the case with the 3-fight deal? So is this like his second fight?
And this is his second fight. The third fight will be a big pay-per-view fight for Amir Khan, and then extended beyond that once we go into those fights. So this is kind of like the last time you're going to see him outside of the crunch fights, if you like. He needs a decent test. You'll see when Vargas comes, he's a good talker, but he's not a Phil LaGreco talker, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So he's someone, obviously got 2 losses on his record to Spence and Garcia, so he's not quite good enough to go and win world titles, but he is good enough to test Amir Khan and hopefully give him some good rounds in Birmingham.
Is it Vargas next because Phil LaGreco was so quick, so you kind of like want him to...
No, the plan was always to have 2 fights. But LaGreco wasn't world rated, Vargas is. But the plan was always to have... But the LaGreco win, whilst it was brilliant, and we were all like... we always knew he'd win the fight, but the way he did it, the atmosphere, the energy within the arena was great. And then afterwards you sort of thought, could have done with a few more rounds really, Yeah. And listen, if he would have gone 12 rounds in that fight, perhaps he would have just skipped the September fight and just jumped into that big fight. But it's impossible to do that. And I like the way Vargas talks. I think his quote was, "I'm not Phil LaGreco." So we'll see.
How are you and Khan sort of getting on business-wise? You know what I mean? Is it all
good.
working out
I think
good,
what they're realising is that we have a very straightforward, and I think the boxing world is sort of marred by relationships where fighters don't actually get told the truth. And we like to be completely open with the fighters and interact with them a lot. Some have managers, which sort of buffers the relationship a little bit between promoter and fighter.
Right.
But I use Khan's example. Anthony Joshua's the best example. Nothing that goes on ever Anthony doesn't know about.
Yeah.
So, and I feel that's important. So with Amir Khan, he needs to know the exact plan. I think what he enjoyed about the first fight was whenever someone works for you for the first time, especially Khan Promotions and the dad and stuff like that, they're very, it's Eddie Hearn's match, I don't know how this is going to go. And then we do a show together and they turn around and say, why didn't I join you earlier? Because everything's so straightforward. He sold out the arena, the ratings on Sky were incredible, he looked sensational, the atmosphere was brilliant, and I feel like it's given Amir a little lease of life in his boxing career again. And that's really about boxing in the UK. Forgetting our relationship, I think the way he felt and the energy he had, I mean, we had a plan for that last fight. He had 2 walk-on songs, right? Mm-hmm. And he was supposed to walk from the dressing room to the entrance of the arena to one song, stand there and shadow for 30 seconds, and then the next song would kick in, and then he'd walk. As he came through the arena, he just kept on walking.
Yeah.
So it was a bit of a disaster walk on, but that was the energy that it had, and I think that's why his performance was like that as well. It was just, I think he was supposed to go in there, take his time, and he's that kind of fighter. He fights. He's electric how he fights, and the atmosphere suited it. And I'm excited to come to Birmingham because this is an important city for us, but we've never had a sort of box office star fight here. Yeah. It's always been Sam Eggington or Cal Yafai, good crowds, 6,000. But now we have the opportunity to fill it, and I'm expecting to do that with Amir.
Was Eggington considered? Because that's what I thought it was.
We considered Eggington previously, not for this fight because we know he's at 154. This fight with Vargas is at 147 pounds. That's where Amir wants to be. So when he first came back, Eggington was being considered for Brook and for Khan.
Yeah.
But Sam has to be 154 pound, and there's Khan's sole focus is 147 pound.
Okay, Eddie. So when you walked in the room, the numbers on my bank account, ping, 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 went up. Eddie Hearn, the Zone. What's going on with the announcement? We want to know, when are you going to announce these fights? People are saying, what's going on? Are they all turning him down?
No, a lot of turned us down, but not
Does that dent your ego?
July the 16th or 17th in New York is our first announcement with the press conferences for our first show. We have signed and about to sign 3 world champions so far. 4 or 5 of the best young talents out of the USA team. A load of other hot prospects, top 5s in the world across multiple divisions. So,
Charlo brothers?
No, we haven't signed the Charlo brothers.
Do you reckon it's likely? They'd be good. They'd be
very good.
They'd be good. Yeah.
I feel like we need a Mikey Garcia. We need a Charlo. We need those guys.
Because they weren't flat out no, were they? They were like.
No. I think Mikey Garcia, we've got a very good chance of getting. He fights Easter on July 23rd, and then we'd like him on in November. There's a little bit of a war going on at the moment between us and Showtime. They're not very happy with us because obviously a lot of the Heyman fighters and PBC fighters, all of them, don't have promotional contracts. So obviously they're the ones we're going to be targeting. And they're Showtime, guys that are put on Showtime. So it's a little bit of an interesting dynamic. We're getting blocked everywhere we go. We're getting told, fighters are getting told by certain people, don't go with Eddie Hearn, don't go with Eddie Hearn. So there's plenty of barriers to entry, but that's the exciting thing.
Money.
No, but that's the exciting thing. So we've got some great ideas, some great fighters joining up. I mean, we don't want to announce any fights before July 17, but unfortunately, because of the Callum Johnson Better BF purse bid, that got out through the IBF anyway. So that's on one of our shows. Yeah, but it's one of those things. If Callum Johnson wasn't a huge puncher, I would have no interest in him taking that fight.
Better BF has been dropped early on in his career. People forgot that.
He's 34.
Yeah.
He's been inactive for the last 2 years. He's just coming out of a promotional dispute. So if you're ever going to fight him, now's probably the time to do it. He's very, very good. But what do you want to do? Do you want to go through your career and say, I turned down a world title fight in New York? If he loses, he comes back for the big domestic fights. Fate and life sometimes throw up some funny things. He had a terrible time. His father passed away. He was so close to him. It looked like he might not even continue his career. Then he got back on the horse, beat Buglioni in a round, and now he's jumping into a world title. So listen, fate can throw up funny things. I'm really proud of him for having a go at this world title.
So Povetkin next for Joshua then, that's the next.
That'll be the one. Looking to finalise dates. We'll be in September. We'll be outdoors. And fun and games over the last 48 hours or so. But I'm quite pleased now because it's been 3 months of negotiations with Wilder.
So you and Espinoza going at it. You love it, didn't you, Eddie?
Yeah, I do. I mean, look, Espinoza, I'm not sure why he wants to get involved. He doesn't have either fighter under contract.
Did you have him on the ropes for some of those questions?
No, he's being told things by Shirley, but everything that he says, he interprets in a different way. What I said was, people said to me, you were guaranteed the money. No, we weren't. We didn't even ask for the money to be guaranteed, but they're saying, we guaranteed you the money. We showed you the money. You didn't show us the money. We didn't ask for it. He says, we did ask you that we could do that. That's not what I said. Number 2 was, they made us an offer. We said we're interested, send the contract. They never sent the contract. They refused to send the contract. He said, they sent you a term sheet. I know they sent me a term sheet. They didn't send the contract that we asked for.
As a fan, Eddie, for me, it just got too much, man. It got
Do you know
too
what?
much. That's why too much,
but
man.
I'm quite pleased.
I love it. I love all the hype. But
I'm quite pleased now that it's over. So, but it's not over.
As
I said with Coogan yesterday.
Yeah.
Deontay says Joshua's ducking. Josh said he doesn't want the fight. So it's there. All the terms that you agreed are there. If you've got any comments, of course, come back to us with them. But let's get it signed.
Cool.
So if you think we're bluffing, if you think we're ducking, if you think he won't fight you, sign the contract and you'll see. So, but Espinoza, like I said, he doesn't have either fighter under contract. So I don't know whether he's just a little bit angry right now. But listen, ultimately, and whilst honestly we'd prefer this fight this year than next year, it makes it even bigger, and you will still get this fight in both guys' prime.
As it stands, Povetkin is a tough opponent. I think he's a tough. He's getting on, but he can crack.
Dan Raphael said to me last night, "Why are you fighting Povetkin?"
He's tough.
I said because he's mandatory. There's no Ring Magazine world champion. Number 1 is Anthony Joshua. Number 2 is Deontay Wilder.
Tyson Fury, lineal.
I'm talking about Ring Magazine champion. Number 3 was Joseph Parker.
Yeah.
Joshua just beat him. Who's the new number 3? Alexander Povetkin. This guy is going to have his 22nd fight, Joshua. He would have fought Dillian White, number 6 in the ring mag, Dominic Brazil, number 7, Vladimir Klitschko, who I think was number 1 at the time, Takam, Joseph Parker, who was number 3, and now Alexander Povetkin, who is number 3.
Yeah.
Don't worry about this guy ducking fights.
I do rate Povetkin.
Joshua is fearless, and this is a nightmare fight for Joshua. Style-wise, pressure-wise, everyone's talking about Wilder. This is a tough, tough fight. Povetkin comes with Rybinski, the world of boxing, Putin. They're all behind him, mate. They're all going to be all over this. A Russian gets a chance to become the heavyweight champion of the world. This is a tough, tough fight. So Josh has started camp. He's preparing for that now. And roll on September.
And finally, White Parker, all good. Everything at the undercard,
great.
Brook and that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough fight for Dillian White.
Yeah.
I think he's going to stop him. Obviously, Kell Brook wants this fight. You know, that's what he wants more than anything. And he's going to put the pressure under me to try and make that. And I will put the pressure on Amir and Kell. That's the fight we want for December. I think both guys, if they don't take the fight, are silly, to be honest with you. It's the biggest fight out there, bar none. But, you know, Joshua, Wilder against Parker, fascinating fight. All the tickets have gone. I think they've just released about 100 more. Chisora Takam, Kell.
Yeah, that's a good. Chisora Takam was good.
Chisora Takam
I think you needed that personally, just to give that bit of beef
possibly,
on it.
And I think that Chisora Takam is certainly the one that people seem to be very, very excited about.
Eddie Hearn, thanks for speaking to Wingy Boxing.
Yes, Wingy.
IFL
in
TV.
association with IFL TV.
In association with IFL TV, and lend us to 10, mate.
No problem.
Right. Cheers, buddy.
Actually, I ain't got any money.